So let's talk about two things. Let's talk about anxiety and depression. Let's start with anxiety first. Anxiety is caused by excessive mental thinking. Excessive mental thinking to the point where you're not even aware that you're thinking about all these things. You're not aware of all these negative thinking patterns that are constantly going in your head over and over and over. You're not aware of it. You're kind of numb to it if you think about it. Because we don't listen to our thoughts as much. Because we're so immersed with our thoughts that we're not even aware that we're thinking about all this stuff. Okay? So anxiety is created when we live too much in the future. And depression is created when we live too much in the past. Okay? So let me give you an example of how anxiety is created. Let's just say it's your first day at work and you're constantly shaking, right? You start to feel a heaviness in your stomach, maybe butterflies. You start to feel ill. Your whole body is just a mess, right? Now, why is that? Is it because you're judging yourself? Think about it. Are you constantly determining what the outcome will be of the situation? Because that's how anxiety is created, when we basically think too much in the future. We're overthinking. We're excessively overthinking about the outcome of a situation. Okay? But we're not aware of it. That's the thing. We're not aware that we're overly thinking about something excessively. And because anxiety is caused when you're thinking too much in the future, that's when all these symptoms start to kick in, like the shaking and all that stuff, because we're determining an outcome that doesn't actually really exist. It doesn't really exist. Are you thinking that this person is gonna fire you? Are they gonna judge you in a horrible way? Are you gonna feel like you failed? You're not worth anything? All these thoughts start to kick in. You don't think you're going to do a good job, that you're bad, and all that stuff, right? Or they're going to do this to me, they're going to think about this about me. Those are all future outcomes. They haven't, it hasn't happened. It doesn't exist. So that's a small example of anxiety. We can go really deep with this, but I only have 6 minutes. Okay, let's talk about depression. Depression comes from living too much in the past. Okay? It's certain situations in your life that has happened, that has affected you deeply. Things, external influences, people you've encountered, pain, suffering, maybe physical abusement or trust issues or failure that you've experienced. All these situations in your life as you're growing has formed an identity, okay? So you are identifying yourself with these outcomes, with these situations that have happened in your life. So much so to the point that you can't separate yourself from it, that you don't know how to let it go, that you're carrying it with you to the future, to the present moment, okay? That's a form of living in the past, okay? So when we live in the past is basically when we are still identifying ourselves with what happened to us in the past. Things that have made us this way, right? And that's the mistake that we make. We should not do that. But obviously it's hard. It's easier said than done. My whole point is to introduce both topics about anxiety and depression. Okay, so anxiety is living too much in the future, and depression is living too much in the past. Okay, it's something that we can't really control. It's really hard, but the first steps is to be aware of it, right? You have to start being aware of your thoughts, your negative thinking patterns. So it all originates in the thought, the mind. And once it originates from the mind, it will travel through your emotions. And once it travels through your emotions, it travels through your body. It affects your body, like shaking, for example, or illnesses, or stomach problems, or any sort of things, right? So the first step is to kind of concentrate on the emotion. And what are you feeling? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling worthless? Are you feeling joyful, happy, content? What are you feeling when you have depression or when you're feeling anxiety? And that's a clue. Once you determine the feeling that you're feeling, the emotion that you're feeling, then you can pinpoint the thought. What kind of thoughts are you thinking? What kind of thoughts are you thinking that are creating that emotion? Okay? And that's going to be the clue to kind of switching your mindset to a more positive way of thinking. Okay? Okay.